Yeah. Good morning, everybody.
I was gonna
That's
go.
the way
You're
we
gonna
do
sing
our
the theme song.
hellos. What's
You're
that?
gonna sing. Did he play the theme? Did he play the bumper, or did he just
Of
go?
course
He
I'm
is the
playing.
theme.
Of course I'm playing the theme. I do this live every morning. Didn't you know? I'm one of those people. You remember they have those one man band? Those people who like
Yeah,
had the drums and then they had a keyboard in
that
front and
big
they
one
play
at
the
the back.
guitar. Had like
Yeah, that thing.
a whole lot of shit on the back, a harmonica hanging from the front. Like that's me. That's what I do. That's
What
how
is
it
that thing
works.
called? That you don't know. It looks like a spring, and then people used to play it.
Oh, the
An
accordion.
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 Mhm.
Yeah, that's the word.
That's it. An
Yeah.
Morning,
accordion.
guys.
Morning. We've got Lebang. We've got Bakh'abantu. We've got Gareth. We've got you. That's all we need to make a good
Yay.
show. Yes, indeed. Sanele says, "Good morning, cretins." That's exactly what we are. Cretins. That's what we
You see right
do.
through us.
Yep.
You
There's
see,
no
right.
point in bullshitting you. Come on, bullshit a bullshitter. All right. Here we are, live, ready to go. So, Elon Musk owns the whole of Twitter.
Yay! Ooh, ooh.
He finally
And I
got
don't
the
even.
board to.
I don't know what I'm celebrating. It just, I hope that it means like good things are coming for
So-
Twitter because I spend quite a bit of time there. So
Yeah,
What
I mean,
a good, like in the definition of Twitter, what would be a good thing? An edit button?
no, definitely not. That's the first thing
No.
I would be so mad if there was an edit button because then what's the point, right? Just
Well-
like a stronger verification process. Number one, like there's too many robots. There's too many non-humans on there. Hate speech. Something to be done about that. Like for real. Like that guy's rich, man. He can get a lot of things done. So I'm hoping that whatever they come up with there,
But he's
it's going
against
to make
that.
for a better experience.
Like hate
Yeah.
speech is kind of freedom of speech, so he's going for like free platform, like anyone can say whatever they want,
Yeah,
no stifling.
He's like figure it out. you
Yeah.
know? But I mean, Lebang does have it right when she said that he's not going to have the robots and the algorithms working in the background.
Yeah.
So that probably will work out well. I don't know. I mean, I
Yeah.
think let's just see what it looks like. Clearly, Twitter has soured, and I don't think anybody on earth goes, "Oh, we're loving Twitter the way that we used to love it
Yeah.
10 years ago." Because I do think there was a time where it was fun, and then somehow it became hugely political. And then Twitter made a couple of really obviously stupid mistakes, like they would ban certain kinds of speech and not others. They would be very political about certain things and not others. You could get thrown off if you did this, but you'd be perfectly able to do whatever you wanted if you said that. And it seemed like there was manipulation going on in the background. Artificial stuff was happening, and nobody likes that. Everybody wants to know what we're doing here is legit. It's above the board or above board, and now he is the board. So I think he's probably going to get rid of a whole lot of these 22-year-old hall monitors. Like when you were at school, there were those. They weren't really prefects, but they were hall monitors.
Snitches.
They were like, why are you outside of class during class? You should be in class. Meanwhile, you're like, I have to take this to the office. Meanwhile, you're actually like getting outside.
Where's your permission slip?
Yeah. That's what those people are, and I hope he fires them, and I hope he gets rid of. I don't think he's going to make that many changes, by the way.
I don't think he is. I think it's just going to look the same.
Yeah, it's going to look and feel pretty much the same, but slowly you'll see, certain kinds of things being put back on the agenda, and that's good. You see, if it goes this way, then it's going to eventually have to go that way.
Yeah, definitely over time we'll see some things happening, but like it won't have immediate effect. It's just an exciting time. I mean, Gareth, when you speak about how Twitter used to be, 2011 Twitter was perfection.
It was so
just
much
like
fun.
Relaxing. It was peace. The word toxic doesn't even exist. And then it's almost like as it grew and they let more and more people in, to this day, I still believe a lot of people don't know how to use Twitter. They don't know what they're doing there on that app. They just talking shit. They're using it wrong, basically. So
no, I mean, like here's Tracy, for example. Tracy's like, I got suspended from Twitter for 3 days just for replying to a Cliff Central post that asked, what was the biggest COVID lie or conspiracy? I kid you not. Now, You look at let's look back at just COVID. Let's just say COVID. Like all the weird things that you could not say on Twitter because you were a COVID conspiracy theorist. Like let's say just that you thought lockdowns were a terrible idea. If you said that anywhere in the last, I don't know, 2.5 years and up to maybe 6 months ago, you were pretty much in the dog box.
Yeah,
you'd be thrown out.
Yourself.
And I think you said this, Bakh'abantu, last week. You said the biggest mistake they made, and what really revealed that they had an agenda, was when they suspended Donald Trump. But they kept they kept crazy terrorists in the Middle East who'd actually killed like hundreds of people. They kept them on. They kept the Ayatollah of Iran. They kept like the leader of Hezbollah. They kept like actual serial killers were allowed.
I thought you were going to say they kept actual Cyril.
And well, I mean Cyril too. But it became like so obvious to everybody that there was something going on in the background. And Twitter is important. I'll tell you why. And I lost interest and I got off of there. And that's no surprise to anyone who listens to this show, because it became hugely politically biased, and it just became this echo chamber for a whole lot of blue tick people who didn't allow people who didn't agree with them to have their say. And the whole monitors that I was talking about just now seem to have only operated in one direction. So I just decided this is not somewhere I want to be. And news was allowed as long as it was news that supported a certain agenda.
Narrative. Yeah.
If it wasn't that kind of news, sorry, you hate speech. And remember, that whole words are violence crowd. That crowd, people took them seriously.
That's where they flourish.
Those people. So, like Elon Musk says, and I think everybody who says, "Oh well, nothing is going to change," they don't understand that he's not doing this because he thinks he can make Twitter hugely profitable. It's never been profitable.
It's never been profitable. Yeah.
He's doing this. You know how people talk about philanthropy? They go, "Oh well, so Bill Gates has given all this money for malaria to be defeated in Africa," or they bought mosquito nets with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation money, and then there's this person who's like helping with the floods in KZN or whatever. That's philanthropy. But another part of philanthropy is allowing those values which make a society open and free and liberal. Those values need to be protected. And since Twitter is the most powerful medium on earth for news and information and opinion, it needs to be free. Here's a guy who's got money, more money than God, all right, because he is the richest man on earth ever.
From Pretoria, don't leave that out.
From Pretoria. And he's gone into the world and he's realized, hang on, these are a few things that if you want to run a business, or you want to be a successful person, or you want to be able to live in optimal conditions, then freedom of speech is essential to that.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens. Because obviously the jury's still out, but I think he's made a move in the right direction here. And I think there are lots and lots of people who will rejoin Twitter. And there are probably a few who will get really upset and who will like storm off in a huff.
Do you think he's going to unban Trump?
I don't know. I think that's such a that's gonna be such a polarizing move, because
it is.
You see there's this thing that like Trump just became the embodiment of so many people's horrible bully. He became in their heads for a whole half of the American population and probably millions of people all over the world. Donald Trump became the picture of what those people hated about their childhood, or what they didn't like about school, or what they didn't like about business, or what they didn't like about, and he became this projection for so many people. And listen, a lot of those people have very messed up lives, and it's not really Trump's fault, but they turned him into their private boogeyman. So by putting him back on, he's just going to give them a reason to keep bitching and moaning and having a hissy fit, which could be very funny. But I don't know. I don't think he's going to hurry to do it. I must be honest with you. I think he's going to take a little bit of time and massage it in.
There's always unintended consequences to philanthropy. You mentioned Bill and the Melinda Gates Foundation buying mosquito nets for sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know, like, people got sick from those mosquito nets because they just gave these people mosquito nets and they didn't teach them how to use them, or people found ulterior motives or ulterior means to use them. So they started using them to fish. They caught a bunch of fish, poisoned the water source, poisoned the fish, and it got like really bad. And then, obviously, like, really? Bill Gates is trying to kill Africans. Yeah, this was huge. I think I don't know my African countries, but like sub-Saharan Africa. So yeah, but people got sick from those Bill Gates nets, and people were like, "Oh, Bill Gates is poisoning Africans." You fact check. I thought you were fact checking me.
No, I'm not fact checking you.
Unintended consequences of philanthropy, guys.
But you know what they say, right? They say that no good deed goes unpunished. And it's amazing how you do something good, but then you're going to get shat on because you didn't do enough good things, or you didn't do the good things that these people wanted.
Or you did good thing in KZN, but not in Cape Town. Or you did it for a specific race, but not this race.
Yeah.
Or you should have done it earlier.
Anyway, so Congo Chris says, I'm just excited for all the Elon Twitter memes. I've already made 3. Oh yeah, those are happening. There's some hilarious ones going around.
I like what Tracy's saying how some people, will obviously move over to whatever alternative platform there is. Remember that time when Telegram, or was it WhatsApp, was scaring us and saying, look, we're going to release all your information. Everyone's like, we're going to Telegram for 2 minutes. And then like everybody just went.
Then you realize no one has Telegram.
And like, am I the only one here? Okay, cool.
It did feel like you're the only one there. You're like, just crickets. There was no one around.
And the people that are on there, it's like you don't even really know these people. So it's like, oh, this person, I still have their number. Shit. I have to start conversation. Double shit. Okay, let me just leave. Yeah, no, didn't go well.
So, Lebang, you've got 10 weeks until the Baba comes along.
I do. And that's on paper, by the way. So I'm at like my 30th week. So baby's got about 10 more weeks of baking left. But as per some of my previous pregnancies, it could be 6, it could be 7. And I realized that I'm actually very underprepared for this birth. Like, I don't have a hospital bag. I have like nothing ready. I'm just like kind of just floating and just like
winging it. But like it's baby number 5. It's baby number 5, Lebang. I think if anyone can wing it, you can wing it.
Sure, but by now I shouldn't be winging it, right? By now I should have all my shit together. I should know what to do and what not to do. And like the only thing I've got is like where I'm going to give birth. Like my hospital's like, okay, cool, sharp. Now I'm just like, what if tomorrow I go into labor? What am I going to do? So yeah, but it's all good.
So
other than that,
what do you need? I mean, like, what are the basics that you have to have in place for?
So I need to have a hospital bag because, as I'm saying, if like the baby decides today, then I must just be able to grab my bag, get in the car, and get to the hospital. Inside that bag, I need like newborn clothes. I need like nighties for myself. I need like, some things for the hospital, some bed stuff, blah blah blah, just like things like birthing 101. And if I don't have those things, I'm gonna like struggle when I get to hospital because then it's gonna be, hey, can someone please bring me this? Hey, the baby needs nappies. Like hospitals don't really provide you with anything except for like, I guess, a bed, So you have to make sure that you've got everything on lock. I haven't done a pregnancy shoot. I haven't done a reveal. I'm literally just living my life, guys.
You haven't done your pregnancy shoot. Oh, how are we gonna survive?
Such a tragedy.
Oh, Lebang, what are we gonna do?
I know, but I'm just like rolling. I know the people deserve it, but it's been cool, man. I didn't realize how soon it was. Like it felt like I just felt pregnant yesterday. Now it's like I was looking at my app. It's like week 30. I'm like, what the fuck? When? So I just need to get
Here's Tracy prepped. With some. Tracy says, "Get a birth photographer. I can hook you up with a registered photographer in Pretoria."
See, Tracy, that's what I'm talking
about. Okay, so a birth
huh?
photographer, is he in the theater? Like wow.
Probably.
This is okay. So this is what Tracy does. I remember her mentioning this once in the comments. So she does this for a living, and I got to be honest with you. Like, I don't know if you need cameras to actually document the moment of birth. Like, I'd never want to see my own birth, if you know what I mean. And I don't think I'd ever want to see
my
anyone else's birth.
Like, oh, that's me.
And I don't think it's the kind of thing that anyone goes, oh, just before you go, guys, I know you came here for tea, but let me just show you the video of my child emerging from my wife's vagina. Just hold on 1 second. I'm going to just set up the projector quickly. Are you ready?
Ooh. I don't know if it's that dramatic, but there's definitely moments that you would love to be captured. I know, like, immediately after you have the baby and the baby's like on the chest, I wish I had someone to just quickly
No,
sometimes
that's different, but I'm talking about like the actual moment of birth.
The full, I don't know if they do that.
The doctor's like one last push, and then it's like
sounds like a studio.
Jeez, we don't need that. Yeah. All right, so a couple of things this morning. We've got Carolyn Steyn coming on a little bit later on. We've spoken to Carolyn before. She also just recently received an award, which I want to talk to her about. But today we're going to talk about her gigantic Rainbow Nation blanket of hope. And if there's anything about Carolyn that you know, it is that she started 67 blankets, and that has grown and grown and grown in immaculate and incredible ways. And they've done so much good work. And she's going to tell us what their next project is, because there's always something new in the works. We've also got to speak to a guy called Dr. Reza Mia. And we had Reza on before, because he's a really interesting chap. He's also a renowned medical doctor, but he's doing this incredible thing. He's an aeronautics scholar, and he's made it his mission to innovate in aerospace and transport. We had him on the show ages ago, but he has decided to build and own a business jet that's unique, the Pegasus vertical business jet. And it's going to take to the skies in the new Hollywood movie called The Lost City. So this is amazing. It's actually, the prototype is featured in the trailer for The Lost City and in the movie. So it's really, really cool. We're going to find out all about that from Dr. Reza Mia, who's no stranger to everybody who listens to the show. And we've got lots of other good stuff happening through the course this morning. So stick around for that and a whole lot more. What's happening with you, Bakh'abantu? Are you also 10 weeks out from your pregnancy?
No, I forgot to reveal I'm having a girl. I'm gonna hibernate for winter. What's new in my life? Studying.
I'm looking forward to hibernating. Listen to me, I sound like Michael Flax.
Hibernating.
I'm looking forward to hibernating for winter. No, I'm also looking forward to doing nothing for winter, because there are only a few things. I said this last year. There are a few things that make winter really cool. And Lebang, I don't know whether it's better to have a kid in summer or in winter. Something tells me winter's better.
I guess so.
Does it make a difference?
Sure. I don't think so.
Like for the baby or for the mom?
You're still definitely pushing a child out of your whole vagina. So it doesn't matter if it's cold, hot, or it's happening. That's all. The end. There's really no difference.
Okay. I was just wondering, because if it's really, really hot, it can be super annoying to be, very pregnant in December and January. And I have no experience of this, but I'm just guessing.
That's not a weather thing. It's already super annoying to be pregnant in general.
So you don't really care about that.
But maybe there's like some scientific thing generally.
All right. Well,
there is for everything.
What I like, 3 things about winter. There's only 3 things. If you're in a relationship, it's nice to have someone in the bed with you. If you're in a relationship, which I'm not at the moment, so that one doesn't count, right? Second thing, fires, actual fires. Outside, inside, wherever you might be, if you have a fireplace in your house, or if you go to a lot of winter things, there was fires there, and it's just that feeling of, I don't know, there's something very primal about a fire, and human beings love it, so we like a fire. So that's one thing about winter that makes it quite cool and cozy and exciting. And the other thing is, for me, soup, which is, it's pretty much, that is almost every every third meal I'd say is soup in winter.
Yeah,
and it's easy.
And stews.
And you start you make a soup on the Monday, and you can keep having soup
it for
until
like 4
Thursday,
days.
Friday.
Yeah.
So that's nice. There is one other thing that some people say, although it's not a big deal to me. A lot of girls love winter because they love dressing up in winter clothes.
Yeah, I was going to say winter clothes. It has to be up there.
A lot of people like the heavier, the warmer, the wintry stuff. I don't care about that at all. I'm not interested in dressing up in summer or in winter. So
those fluffy blankets. Oh, guys, there's nothing cooler than a fluffy blanket.
Or
blankets. And you know what? They make such awesome blankets now. They feel almost like they're fur, but they obviously, it's fake fur, but it feels so nice. And those, when you get under those things in front of the TV on a really chilly afternoon, and you don't have to think about work, your work's done for the week. Oof, that's nice.
Yeah, no,
right?
It's just a great excuse to not have to leave the house. Like, we're not tempted to go out and, get sun-kissed and have cocktails by the bar. No, we're actually just staying indoors. The end. That's like the big win for winter for me anyway. Because like as soon as spring comes, people just start to go crazy and they lose their minds.
No, but you get those people like summer bodies are made in winter. So like they're hitting the gym now. Gym season.
Good for them. Good.
I've got to do that. I've got to get back in the gym. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been feeling a bit sick, and I decided I'm not going to take a chance and go to gym. But I think today or tomorrow is D-Day. I've got to get back in there. That's what I want to do.
We're rooting for you, buddy.
Do you have a boop? Do you have a proper boop?
I'm feeling a bit like, when you haven't done any exercise for 2 weeks.
You just feel fat.
You just feel useless, dude. You feel useless. Tracy says water births are lovely until someone has to clean it. Think about it.
Yes. I wanted a water birth so badly. Like I begged them, but I'm too high risk. So I just can't. But that's like the ideal birthing environment, right? Just like chilling in a big ass bath, like some warm water, you're just floating about, have your favorite music playing in the background. People are holding your hands, and then you just like push 3 times, and then boom, this baby pops out. That is like the ideal birthing experience. And yes, whoever has to clean that up, hey, job is a job.
You know what's the most disgusting thing ever? There's this thing called afterbirth, where they give birth to the placenta. Do you know it?
How's that disgusting? Like, that's the disgusting part?
We're talking to Lebang. We're talking to Lebang, who's done this like 4 times with their eyes closed. Are you kidding? Do you know that? Do you know this
experience?
Lebang, I love the way Bakh'abantu is like, have you heard about this?
No, but he knows. He knows quite well about this thing. It's not far off. Yeah. So we all have our own experiences, right?
Mm-hmm. We all have our own experiences.
All right. Well, you kind of spoilt something this morning for Bakh'abantu. He was hoping for a big drum roll and everything else because you've done the gender reveal, right? Did you do a whole thing for gender reveal?
Gareth, I'm too tired. I'm too, I don't have time for that. I don't think it's that important. Like, I just told the people who needed to know what gender my baby is. I mean, I walked into the office 2 weeks ago like, hey guys, I'm having a this. And they were like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? It's just casually mention it in conversation.
Because I know people who turn it into a huge production. They make a massive fuss of it. It's a big deal. Oh, have you guys heard? And then there's a balloon that explodes, and if the pink comes out, it's a girl. If it's blue, then it's a boy.
Good for them.
Or you go to your baker with a secret envelope. You give it to the baker, and then when you cut open the cake, it's
the color. Yeah. I saw a really funny gender reveal video yesterday, and I don't know if it's funny or not, but it was 2 guys fighting. One was dressed in pink. They were wrestling, and the other one was dressed in blue. And whoever won that fight is ultimately the gender. It was so funny.
Because towards the end, the dad comes in and hits the blue guy, and then the girl wins. Like, oh, it's a girl. I wanted a girl.
But people have come up with. I'll never forget. There was a story around this time last year, I think, in America, where they were so busy making this really intense, complicated gender reveal happen that they set fire to
the California,
the whole forest, and for months California was on fire because of this stupid gender reveal party. They actually, I think they either sent those people to jail or they They find them very heavily. I can't remember what happened. But these days, a gender reveal's become a really big event. And I know people who they plan these parties with, where the theme is blue and everything, the sweets on the table are blue and everyone must wear blue. And please pay attention to my unborn kid's gender. It's so important to me. I'm so
Let
glad.
them enjoy,
I'm proud
man.
of you, Lebang. I'm proud of you, Lebang. You're like, this is what's happening. So just do it so that everybody who is like Bakh'abantu and who's massively, upset that you didn't make much more of a fuss about this, just give them all what they want. Here it is. Here's the fanfare. Let's go.
Okay, so my firstborn is a boy. Secondborn is a boy. Third is a girl. Fourth is a girl. And I am having a girl.
Lebang, are you wearing pink glasses? Was that the reveal?
That's the reveal. Yeah.
You got me.
This is
it.
There we go. Yes. It's amazing. It's so important.
Another girl on the way.
Do you want to hear some headlines?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, wait, Lebang, I thought you were going to say no. Like, nah.
Well, you could. I mean, if you did say no, I wouldn't be upset with you. Let's look at what's happening in Durban and in KwaZulu-Natal. Sihle Zikalala, who's the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, said that the damage to PRASA-related infrastructure is estimated to be more than 940 million rand. Okay? He said, this is a demonstration of the ferocious nature of the floods that affected the province 2 weeks ago. He was providing an update on the KZN government's response to the impacts on the disaster on Sunday afternoon. He said the province needs more than 1.9 billion rand to complete recovery required in affected parts of the province. Apparently, just the trains and the trucks that get stuff at Durban Harbour has been such a massive undertaking that they have to get that back up and running ASAP. So he reckons that the costs in total 1.9 billion, but just the PRASA-related stuff, which is passenger rail.
Yeah,
and
we know how PRASA is reliable with money.
Yeah, they've been very good with money before. I think I'm glad you brought that up, Bakh'abantu, because they're very, very
they're very good with money.
Yeah. We can totally trust them. If you give them 10 rand, you always get to see exactly how that 10 rand is spent.
So if PRASA quotes us 900 and something, I think I give you 20 mil, and I'm like, make it work.
Yeah.
I give you 20 mil. I'm like, okay, no, just keep coming back.
Yeah, well, exactly. All right, then Graham Smith reacts to being cleared of racism allegations. I mean, now you can try someone for being a racist. And I still want to know how that works, because how can you ever really tell? This is something that people allege. They're like, oh, that person's a racist. But then you can't really look inside their soul and tell whether they actually aren't or they actually are. Because these days we throw that allegation around, and you see it, especially on places like Twitter. People are like, that one's a racist. That one's a racist.
Some people are so openly and loudly racist and proudly that they're not even hiding it.
I think I prefer those people that don't hide it. But to answer your question, Gareth,
those people are rare, though. It's hard to find a real, open racist these days.
If that person doesn't have black friends, guys, we know this. If you don't have black friends, you're racist.
What?
You must have at least.
No.
Being facetious.
It's like if you can't say the line, I'm not a racist, but I have black friends. Then you
like, you're pretty for a black girl. You're borderlining racist, but you just don't know.
But if you say to someone you're pretty for a black girl, obviously you're an ignorant, stupid idiot. But
no, 100%.
But are you like a hardcore Avia beer flag waving, like I want to kill black people racist? Because there's degrees. This is the thing.
Look, there's definitely levels, but if places like Orania still exist, Gareth, and there's more of those kinds of places than we're told about, then we need to be open to the idea that there are many, many, many racists that are operating with us. They may be just not, they don't have a thing on their forehead.
This is like a boogeyman. And also, are you really expecting everyone in the world to love you? If you're Chinese and everyone in the world doesn't love you, does that mean that we have a racist problem in the world against Chinese people, or is it that Chinese people have to accept that not everybody loves them?
Sure.
That's a good question. Where do you draw the line between not liking someone and being racist?
There's a huge difference. There's you don't need to love me. You know that not everyone's gonna dig you. But there's also a difference between that and almost purposefully going out of your way to make this person's life miserable because you believe that you are the upper echelon.
No, but
okay, let's take Urania, for example. They're not bothering me on a daily basis. So are they racist?
But if you were to go there, my nigga, you will not make it out.
I don't want to go to Urania.
No. I mean, if you want something, if you want something badly enough, you're going to find it. And I think there are a lot of people. There are people who thrive on not everybody loves me, and therefore the world is a problem and it must be fixed. Rather than, so what? There are going to be some people who, I know that there are probably some black people who really think I'm a racist. I've seen that on social media, and I'm like, so fucking what? Not everybody likes me. Too bad. I don't go around saying you're a cliffist because you don't like me. You son of a bitch. How dare you? How am I gonna make it through my day without everybody in every part of the world loving me? Please.
It's obviously a lot more layered than that.
You're bound to be miserable. I mean, listen, here's what Sanele says, and I think this is such an important point. The CSA, the Cricket South Africa proceedings, they were not public. I would really love to know how you vindicate racism. Well, that's the point, right? So let's go to the story. Former Cricket South Africa Director of Cricket, Graham Smith, said he was pleased with the independent arbitration outcome that cleared him of all racism charges brought about by the Social Justice and Nation Justice Building report. Independent arbitrators, advocates Nwako Manyeche and advocate Michael Bishop, cleared Smith on all charges of racial discrimination with costs. So he says, I'm grateful that my name has finally been cleared. I've always given South African cricket my utmost as a player, administrator, even as a captain over the past 20 years. So to hear these baseless allegations of racism being made has made it extremely difficult, both for me and my family. It has been exhausting and distracting. Oh, Graham, it's so...
Oh my gosh, Graham, no.
So exhausting when people call you names. Oh,
so tiring. Oh, man.
Oh, I feel for you,
Graham.
Man.
He's going through so much.
Hurt, Gareth. Words hurt.
Anyway, listen, I mean, this is infuriating because it's become this thing like everybody in the world has to love everybody else in the world, even if they're pretending. Just do it on social media. Say on social media, Black Lives Matter, because otherwise you're a racist. You know what I mean? It's become
if you're gonna say it, mean it, man.
But no, that's exactly what's not happening.
Mean it.
No. Because if you mean anything, people read their own shit into that anyway. You could mean the best thing in the world. You could be like, you know what? I fucking love people with orange hair. I love them. Right? I'm a huge fan of people with... People go, why did he say that? I think
he's
it's
overcompensating.
because he hates the people with the blue hair. He hates them. That's why he said that about the people with the red hair. It's so dumb. Anyway, so that's happened. So good for him. There's the latest from Graham Smith. Do you want to hear some more?
Mm-hmm. Keep them coming.
They got high-tech fitness mirrors that are going to get people to exercise more. I kid you not.
Really? So that's what's going to... Okay.
That's right. That's what's going to make people fitter. And why a fitness mirror? Because people can't see enough of themselves in the year 2022. The biggest problem we have, not enough mirrors. We need to see more of
the mirrors
ourselves.
Not body positive if they're going to show me how fat I am?
Ooh, don't bring that up.
Don't say that out loud. If they hear you,
really,
you'll be cancelled, honey.
No. I mean, how can you say that? So here's the thing, right? The whole story is that apparently these mirrors are going to help you to figure out what's going on and to do the right thing. These are 180 centimeters tall. They're high-tech. They contain a computer. They hook up to the internet, and they work as a video screen. The idea is that you connect to an online trainer who then appears on the mirror along with your reflection. It'll look something like this. The picture for those people who are watching on YouTube. You will have someone else demonstrating, oh, no, you haven't got your ass low enough. You need to put your ass a little bit lower. You need to go back or forward, or you need to lean more, or your back's not straight, or whatever. That's what's going to happen. And there'll be an actual person on it. So this is for very, very bored people who don't have enough. Yeah, and rich people and people who don't really have enough attention in their lives. So they're going to make these new fitness mirrors. So look forward to that, everybody. It's going to be very exciting. But
it's
if you
really
are
giving Black Mirror.
Yeah, if you live on your own and you don't have any friends and you've never actually been able to join a gym because you're afraid that people will point and laugh, then this is for you, the high-tech mirror. How exciting. Aren't you pleased?
And no one points and laugh at the gym.
I've never seen anyone point and laugh. Exactly.
Hey, they do. They just don't laugh in the moment. They record you, then they post it on social media and you go viral for using the freaking machine wrong. And then you're completely screwed.
Are you allowed to just record people without permission and then put them on social media? I don't think
the things that happen in gyms.
I think if you do that, that's not allowed. So Gauteng's municipalities are owed 79.4 billion rand. That's from Lebang Maile. According to Gauteng Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, MEC, the province's municipalities are owed 79.4 billion rand. That is owed, the majority of it, by household consumers, and this covers only the period categorized over 90 days. So I was under the impression that if you owe municipality money, they cut off your electricity.
Except in Soweto.
That's what happens to me. I mean, if I don't pay my electricity, it gets cut off. How about you?
You don't stay in Soweto, Gareth. They riot and burn stuff. So you don't cut off.
So what you've got to do is you must riot and burn stuff.
You must riot and burn stuff. You must destroy government property for not paying the government. Commit more crimes to cover up your crime.
I knew I was doing something wrong. It's so dumb. How dumb of me.
You're just doing the one crime. You need to do all the crimes. And then there's no crime.
Damn it. That's so dumb. All right. And then Twitter has kicked off deal negotiations with Elon Musk after he wooed many of the social media company's shareholders with financing details on his $43 billion acquisition. People familiar with the matter said the company's decision to engage with Musk, taken earlier on Sunday, does not mean that it will accept his $54.20 per share bid. But it does signify that Twitter is now exploring whether the sale of the company to Musk is possible on attractive terms. So we'll see what happens. And we talked about that a little bit in the first hour of this morning's show, the first half hour of this morning's show. All right, it is time to turn our attention to someone who's been doing absolutely incredible things for years now. There is a new element to what she's going to be doing. She's going to be doing something called the Rainbow Nation Blanket of Hope. And there's an event taking place. It's part of 67 Blankets for Nelson Mandela Day, which, of course, is on July the 18th every year. This started off, and we remember, if you've listened to the show before and you've met Carolyn before, you'll remember the story she tells about how she was sitting with some people and wondering what she should do for Nelson Mandela Day. And she got an idea in her head that she wanted to crochet a blanket. And then before you knew it, she had a whole lot of her friends doing it. And before she knew it, she had thousands of people across the country doing it. She's had prisoners doing it. She's had people everywhere in South Africa contributing. It's become a massive, massive, world-famous campaign. She joins us this morning. Carolyn Steyn, it is so good to see you. How are you?
I'm fine.
Hang on. I need to cut you off from one of these. Just let me kick the one. Hang on. There we go. Try now.
I can.
Oh, we can hear you now. Okay, good.
I can't see you at all. Can you see me?
I can see you, and we can hear you.
Okay, so shall we keep it like that then?
I think so. I'm not sure why. We had two screens with you on it. I'm not sure what was going on there, but it's perfect now. So Carolyn, can you hear me properly enough to answer the questions?
I can hear you properly, and I'm glad you can hear me properly. I just can't see you. Unfortunately, you're so good looking.
So let me just start off by congratulating you. You received a very great honor from the French government the other day, in part because of the work that you've done here with 67 Blankets. You're also a massive supporter of French culture in South Africa, which most people, I don't think, know about you. But congrats on that. Another honor and accolade, which is richly deserved for all the incredible work that you've been doing. But I think for people who don't know any of this, the 67 Blankets story is such a lovely story. And it just keeps evolving. And you've got a new chapter evolving very, very soon with the Rainbow Nation Blanket of Hope, right?
Absolutely. You know, we've been going for 8 years more.
Wow. Wow.
We're celebrating our 9th birthday next year. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, it was 8 years ago I sat in your studio crocheting, which I'm still doing, Gareth.
And you gave me a knitting needle.
I did. Did you do something with it?
I don't even know where I put it, Carolyn. But
I've still in the studio.
I never learned to crochet or to knit. I'm sorry. I'm very disappointing.
There's always time. There's always time. So Gareth, I wasn't sure what we were going to talk about this morning, but I thought, let me just haul out of the safe.
Yes.
Can you see?
There's the award. Ooh. That's the award. That is an extraordinary award that you actually got that from President Macron of France, right? And the ambassador in South Africa, Monsieur Le Chevalier, gave it to you at a very special ceremony. You spoke beautiful French, which I knew you could do, but to hear you do your entire speech in French was incredible. Tell everybody what this meant to you, because I was at the ceremony and I explained it on the show the next day, and people were really curious about what it was.
Well, you know, I've been studying French for a while. I used to write in my New Year's resolutions in my diary every year, you know, find more work as an actress, find a boyfriend, find a new apartment, buy a car that works, find a husband, learn French, and just learn French. You know, I ticked off all the other things, but the French thing was, you know, pure laziness, not having for 10 years. And then on that day, I said, if I don't make this call now, I'm not going to write this in my diary anymore. So 10 years ago, I started with a lovely lady called Janine Perret through the Alliance Française. And, you know, I couldn't put a sentence together. Now I've got 4 teachers on Zoom every week. And, you know, I've improved. So the ambassador, Monsieur Aurélien Le Chevalier, was quite impressed, I think.
Yeah.
My husband's very impressed. You know, I practice that speech forever, every day. So please, can I practice again? You know, and then he'd be Monsieur Aurélien Le Chevalier, and that person would be Dina Gonzalez from JP High School for Girls. And finally, you know, after weeks, Stowe would say, no, please, no more. But it was a very emotional day. I mean, standing there in front of, you know, my friends, you included, was a very, very emotional experience for me. The enormity of this incredible award being bestowed upon me 6 months before I received a call from the ambassador. And I'm thinking, you know, why is the ambassador of France phoning me? And he called me then. It was a very emotional call for him, because the French president, the night before, had signed a decree to bestow upon me this award, the Chevalier de l'Ordre National du Mérite, the National Order, the Knight of the French National Order of Merit. So it's huge. And you know, I'm a normal girl. I come from Kensington, JP High School for Girls. My mom grew up in an orphanage. My father was an electrician. We didn't have, you know, these things were not even known in our home. So I just wish that it were alive.
It's a beautiful story, and you did cry a little bit, and you had your sisters there, which was really special. No, it's great to see also that foreign governments, and I think this is a nice thing that we as South Africans can be very proud of, is that there are other people paying attention, not just our own government, who also occasionally give out awards to very deserving people. And we know that there are lots and lots of people in South Africa who appreciate the cultural and the philanthropic work that you do. But just to go back to that for a minute, because part of this is also that you've become this person who's, you know, you're the blanket lady. That's what people call you.
That's true, and I quite like it. I even got a sash. Bridget van Uller and her daughter Kia bought me the sash, Mrs. Blanket. Very cute.
So what is actually happening? What's the occasion, the event for this Rainbow Nation Blanket of Hope? What is that?
Well, as you know, Gareth, we've gone through a terrible, terrible 2 years with COVID. And so we thought, how does 67 blankets, acknowledge the great work that is being done by our frontline workers?
Mm-hmm.
Aha, we will create the Rainbow Nation Blanket of Hope. So thousands of blankets are being made as we speak. They are being brought by Stutterford van lines as we speak. I think Port Elizabeth, Gqeberha yesterday, they picked up, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of blankets from Port Elizabeth, Cape Town, Bloemfontein, all over, White River, Mpumalanga. The blankets are being brought currently to Steyn City, to our garage, where we are labeling them. Every blanket gets a silk label, 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day. They get a tag number so we know where the blanket has come from and who the beneficiary will be or which organization. Okay. But what we're doing is, and it's very, very exciting, we're working in conjunction, in partnership, holding hands with Gift of the Givers. So Dr. Imtiaz will be there. We're crossing fingers. He's a busy, busy man. Sure. Well, certainly there'll be a lot of representation from Gift of the Givers. So all the blankets, thousands of blankets that are going to be laid out at Steyn City School on the 11th of May, early hours, and you're good at early hours. And it's going to be just spectacular. We've got the Mzansi Youth Choir performing.
Nice.
3-day powers, naturally, and some incredible young talent. So Gift of the Givers, and let me not forget, Doctors Without Borders. So in this event, we are going to be showing our...
Say it in French, Médecins Sans Frontières, right?
Very good, Gareth. Médecins Sans Frontières. Exactement. Excellent.
So Carolyn, Gift of the Givers have really come to the fore with all of these floods in KZN. And I think a lot of people forget that when it gets cold in South Africa, not everybody has a heater or a furry blanket that Lebang and Bakh'abantu and I were talking about just a moment ago. Some people are obviously struggling. So the blankets themselves go to a good cause, but you also obviously raise awareness and you raise money. And there's a tremendous machine that works behind the scenes. And I know you've got Yaku on your team, who's excellent at administering all of this. How many people?
Mr. Blanket.
Mr. Blanket. So how many people are involved in a 67 blankets on an average day in South Africa? How many people are actually sitting there knitting? Because it's a massive undertaking.
Gosh, Gareth, I've got no idea. I just know when I come across people. I mean, I met someone in the hospital the other day. I was visiting someone, and she said, "I know you. I make blankets for you."
Wow.
So there are a lot of schools, my school, Jeppe High School for Girls, they make hundreds of blankets every year. They've contributed thousands. They've contributed to Guinness World Records. We have 4 Guinness World Records, by the way, as 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day, which is extraordinary. We don't have any more records to go for, unfortunately, unless I start doing acrobatics. So the day is going to be really, really wonderful. It's going to be very exciting. I'm just so proud that we are working in conjunction with Médecins Sans Frontières and Gift of the Givers. I applaud, as we all do, the work that they do. I mean, they are just
terrific. If you could measure goodwill, I think the fact that those guys, and you mentioned Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman, I mean, the fact that they are an organization that just whenever there's need, they just raise their hand and they're there. They're there distributing water, distributing food, helping people who are homeless, helping people who are absolutely desperate because everything has been washed away or because, there've been shack fires. Wherever in South Africa we need them, they seem to be our real Department of Social Welfare. And good for you guys that you're getting involved with them, because I don't think there are many South Africans who wouldn't want to see Gift of the Givers getting a little bit of help from people like you and 67 Blankets. Well, listen, Carolyn, it's always good to catch up with you. I know that you have not been out and about as much during COVID. You've been very, very careful. Mm-hmm. And I know also that it's been a little bit frustrating for you and for many people like you and I who, want to get out there and do things. So it was very special to see you the other day. I'm glad that there's this event happening, and it's happening in Steyn City, and you guys are putting out this blanket. It's going to be another amazing and tremendous event, which obviously will bring about a whole lot of good in its wake. So please keep doing the good work you're doing. We need this to happen.
Thank you. If I can say one more thing, if people want to come to the event, we're allowed to have people now.
Yes.
They can go to info@67blankets.co.za. Yaku will be on the other end. Linton will be on the other end of the email. And people do need to be vaccinated. That's one of the rules. And we are doing exceptional things in this country, and I'm so proud. I just want to say again, working with Gift of the Givers, all those blankets will go to Gift of the Givers, who go into places that we can't reach. So, yeah.
Well, terrific to see you, and I hope we'll see you again soon. Good luck for the event.
Thanks, Gareth.
Really great work. Great work. Thanks, Carolyn.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Carolyn.
Bye.
Good
Bye.
stuff. Bye-bye. There's Carolyn Steyn, everybody, and 67 Blankets. And now she's also a recipient of the National Order of Merit. She's a knight, a French knight. Isn't that cool?
Hectic.
French is the best language ever. I just discovered that now. It sounds so cool.
If you want to make Carolyn really happy, you should learn French. It's so easy to do, man. You go along. Oh, it's not easy to learn a language. I'll take that back. But it is easy to learn French in South Africa. There is this amazing organization. It's been around for hundreds of years now, called the Alliance Française, and they will teach you how to speak French beautifully. And you can do it in your spare time. It doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. You get to hear and interact with French people every day, which is how you get good at a language. And you know what? We've got so many people who are so talented with language in South Africa.
Omelette de fromage. Croissant.
Oh, yeah. Cheese omelette. Croissant.
Listen to you, Lebang. That's great.
Come on.
All right. Very good. When we come back, we'll be talking, among other things, to Dr. Reza Mia about his Pegasus Universal Aerospace project and the new movie called The Lost City, which is not about Sun City. It's a Sarah Bullock and who else is in that movie? Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brad Pitt is in it. Yeah. Yes. And Daniel Radcliffe as well. So it's a big movie. We'll find out what the Lost City has to do with Dr. Reza Mia and his project. All of that on the way. We want to hear from you, and you can get hold of us on the comments on the YouTubes or contact@cliffcentral.com. All the info on Carolyn and all our other guests will be posted on cliffcentral.com too. So if you've missed anything, go and check it out on the site. Back in a second.
This week on the Auto Trader podcast.
Ferraris actually they definitely first as contractors as well, because Charles has 71 points, which is more than Mercedes.
Well, I've just looked it up. So I mean, Sainz is not doing that badly.
Yeah.
Perez is also not doing that badly. But if I look at the last couple of races, both Sainz and Perez have been way off their teammates. Catch us every Monday at 9 a.m. on YouTube and on autotrader.co.za.
Just because it's about technology, connecting your business to the rest of the world doesn't mean you need to send rockets to space and use complicated solutions. Want to simplicate things? Well, join Jaco Voigt, who is the CEO of Catalytic, on the Unbundled podcast. With skin in the game and a keen focus on educating and assisting you and your business, Jaco decodes all the aspects of connectivity, security, and cloud solutions. Unbundled is brought to you by Catalytic and is available on cliffcentral.com, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
cliffcentral.com on a, what is it, Tuesday morning. It's the 26th of April. Tomorrow is 27 April. So that means today's like a mini Friday. Tomorrow's a holiday. I kind of forgot about that, to be honest. I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, Tuesday.
Was it yesterday when you were hopping on about like what a waste mid-holidays are, like midweek holidays?
Are you kidding? It's so annoying, dude.
It is, because I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. All I know is I'm not going to wake up early. That's the one thing I know. I'm not going to wake up early. That's the only thing that's changed in my day. Before I know it, it's going to be 4. And then you're just back in your routine. And then, I don't know, it just throws you off.
This is such an annoying, stupid thing when they put a public holiday in the middle of the week. But we'll take it. You know, obviously for some people just need a break. I mean, Lebang, she's ready for a break. She's like got 10 weeks to go this pregnancy. She'll take any break she can get. But the public holiday tomorrow.
What?
No, we're just talking about this public holiday tomorrow and how stupid it is because it falls in the middle of the week, so you don't know what to do with it. And by the way,
stupid.
Well, no, it's not stupid. It's just
a perfect opportunity to take Thursday and Friday off, and then there you have another long weekend.
Yeah. No, that is true. And there are a lot of smart people who've done this, right?
But it is our best holiday. It's Freedom Day. What happened on Freedom Day? I never know the public holidays. I never know what their sentiments are.
Freedom Day was the day we all went to vote in 1994. That was the first day that we had a universal franchise in South Africa, where every single person in the country, it sounds ridiculous if you think about it now, but what is it, 28 years ago today, that South Africans first went to the polls in their droves, and we had all those emotional scenes of people voting for the first time, like old gogos who'd been alive since the 1920s and 30s, who'd never been able to vote before, going to the polls and electing people that they could actually have a say about, you know. So it's a big deal, and I get that, and I'm a fan of history. I'm a student of history. I care about these things, but I do wish we could have our public holidays closer to the weekend and not waste our, because nobody's going to work Thursday and Friday. As Lebang says, if you're clever, you take your time off for those 2 days, and you basically get like 5 days for the price of 2. But it does mean that those people who are unfortunate enough to be stuck at work for Thursday and Friday are going to sit there with their hands folded, their arms folded, and they're not going to know what to do with themselves.
And Mondays are also a public holiday, so
it's also crazy. All right, so apparently the planets aligned on Saturday. This is some big deal. So do you want to tell us what happened here?
That's what I was asking. Is it a big deal, Gareth? Because no one talked about it. So did it affect me? I was trying to think, what was I doing Saturday? Because
first things first, why didn't all those people who constantly tell us about the moon is in retrograde,
that's why you're angry today.
You know those people who tell us all that shit. So why did I have to hear from Bakh'abantu this morning that the planets aligned? Surely those people who are obviously hugely credible, surely all of them should have been the ones telling me, oh, you got to watch out because on the 23rd of April, you're going to have this planetary alignment, and it's going to mean that this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And all of your chakras are going to fall into alignment as well. You know, the world's going to change. So explain to me why nothing significant happened to me.
I don't know. It got me thinking about horoscopes and all these constellation things. And then I discovered there's something called a moon star also. So you have your star sign, which is your sun star. And then it's where the moon was when you were born. Also, it also affects you somehow. I'm like, but this astrology thing it's mind-boggling how people believe it. It is. I don't want to harp on it. I don't want to hate on the people who believe that if I was born and the star was in the northern, the northern star is always in the northern star. But anyway, but like, yeah, like I don't get it. I don't get astrology.
It's like
What's your star sign, Lebang?
I'm a Gemini, but my belief is that when the stars are aligned and the whatnot, it's like a very subtle change that happens. It's not always this loud, like bang, like now shit's about to get real. It's like
we've had these people on the show before, and listen, I've adapted my take on this to be less cynical, because if you don't open yourself up to information, it might be bullshit information, but you don't know until you've heard it. So I've softened my approach. But here's what happens: is you sit in front of one of these people, and it even happens to people on first dates, and it happens to people when they go to family lunches and all this kind of thing. You sit opposite one of these astrology people, right? And they go, "So when is your birthday?" And you're like, 26th of August. They go, "Oh, you're a Virgo." So that, I mean, you're a
classic Virgo.
Yeah, you're such a classic Virgo. I could have guessed that. But if you actually ask them to guess it, so then it goes the other way around. So you say, "Well, I don't know. You tell me what you think I am based on what you know about me." They're like, "I have a feeling you're definitely a Gemini." And I'm like, "Nope, Virgo." I would have said that, but I was thinking it was this one aspect of your personality, but that was my second guess, was Virgo.
You see, that's where moon stars, that's where moon signs come in, Gareth.
Yeah, that's another place another place they can bullshit you. I'm sorry. I don't buy it. I don't buy any of this stuff.
The way you said no, you don't buy it, Gareth, and you're cynical and you're very stubborn. You must be a Taurus.
That's what happens.
They'll make anything fit, really. That's the bottom line. But what you're saying is correct. I think we just kind of need to open up our minds and our energies to the possibilities that some of these things are true. Whether you believe it or not, that's fine for you. But for someone out there, Saturday was such a huge thing and was a big deal, and they've made this huge shift in their lives.
What was a big deal was 420. Especially, and we haven't spoken about this, but at Leondale High School, 420 was a big deal. You know what happened there?
Oh, it was shaking. That's what happened there. It was shaking. Kids were being kids. High school students were living their best lives, so much so that they even recorded themselves.
That's what I don't understand.
All types of strands in the alphabet, having a good time. Standing in one corner of the school, literally, it looked like a crowd. There were like 50 kids there, just like 420 bitches. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. Day one was cool. And then day two got a bit hot when it started surfacing online. And then people were tagging like the Minister of Education and the school principals and stuff. Oh, it was so messy. Oh my
God. When I was at school, you were basically like a murderer if you had weed.
Yeah.
Like I'm much older than you two, but when I was at school, if someone smoked weed, you were like, yes, they're gonna end up such a degenerate. They're gonna end up in prison. They are obviously involved with all the worst elements of society.
Drugs.
Whoa. And I mean, I didn't really care. I mean, I had a friend who used to smoke secretly. I don't know if she smoked weed. I think she did, but she used to smoke secretly when no one. And she was bussed once or twice for doing that by one of those hall monitor types we were talking about earlier. But it never really bothered me. And I've said to you before, I don't love the smell of weed, but I don't care if people smoke weed. It's amazing how attitudes have moved over time from the criminals, the losers in society, the drug addicts, the worst people, the people who live under bridges. They're the only ones who smoke weed. That was just a little while ago. Like
now the richest man on the planet smokes weed.
Now the richest man on the planet goes publicly and smokes weed on video. It's amazing. We have changed.
People forget they were also in high school themselves. They also were children at some point. Like I definitely, we smoked stuff. We experimented. The only difference is we didn't record ourselves, whether it's because we didn't have the smartphones or because, we just were living in the moment too much.
Okay, but I got to say that's pretty stupid. And if you wanted to set back any progress we made, then you would record yourself at high school smoking weed, you dummies. What is wrong with these guys?
They were in uniform, Gareth. That's what I don't get.
On school property. Dude, they were living their best lives. Needless to say, they did get suspended. I think the basic education minister even went to the school the very next day. It was such a big fuss. Yeah, a lot of finger pointing. These kids are smoking. This is
you drug addicts.
yeah. What are the teachers doing?
You're never gonna amount to anything if you smoke that weed. It's so bad for you.
Yeah, no, it was chaos. It was chaos. At no point were the parents blamed at all. It was solely the responsibility of the schools to be making sure that these kids are not smoking weed. Where they're getting this weed, where they're getting the money for the weed. It was just nonsense.
When did parents get a free pass? When did this happen?
Because I mentioned this before. Because when you send your kid to school, it's like you're done with that kid. It's not mine, and for that 8 hours.
Wash your hands like Pontius Pilate. You're like, whatever happens, happens. I have no longer got any authority here. Bullshit. When did parents get a free pass?
Exactly.
It's Ben who used to say, like, whenever someone murders someone, can we bring in the parents and like can we talk to them? What did you teach this kid? Yeah, can we start holding parents accountable to?
But no, the parents are now the parents
are
too
busy.
The parents are standing outside at the gates of the school. They're like, I can't believe that these kids are smoking weed. They're all like indignant, but it's your kids, you sons of bitches. Like, why don't you clean up in your own house? Like, if you haven't realized your kids smoke weed, and the only time you've ever heard it is when the school announces that they caught them on video doing it, you're
That's
not paying
a red
attention.
flag. As a parent, you don't know your kid.
Hello? Are you even listening to your kid? When last did you have a conversation with them, moron?
No, you just put them in front of the TV.
So
let money babysit. But hey, Gareth,
anyway,
people.
So Leondale High School is now the worst school in the whole of South Africa.
I knew it. You see, Leondale, the kids from there. Yeah, I can't stand them. That's all that this did, really. And that's just the school that we know of. This is happening everywhere, in literally most high schools. Even your favorite private schools that you think are untouchable, it's happening more there than ever. The
jury's still out on whether or not smoking weed is good for people at a certain age when there's still a little bit of brain development to happen. And I do wonder if we're going to have the research one day to show that drinking, smoking, taking certain drugs at a certain age is definitely not the best idea. And maybe it's a good idea if you're going to do that stuff to just wait until you're in your maybe, mid-20s. Because there is still a lot of brain development that is taking place.
To happen.
There's still a lot of moving parts, basically. You don't need an external chemical.
Right. Yeah. And I don't want to be one of those buzzkill people because I actually don't care what people do. I don't care if you set your brain back a couple of degrees. That's your business, really. And for some people, maybe it's a good thing because some people are so highly strung and they've got really tense and difficult and complicated
highly
lives.
Strung. Hi.
Yeah. And maybe this is their way of dealing with the world. So I'm not going to tell people what to do. I've always believed everyone should make their own decisions, but I do think there is an element of this that's like adults can make their own decisions. But if you're a kid at high school under the age of 18 and you're doing this, maybe you could spend your time doing something a little more productive, just saying.
Do you boo-boo, but like within context, because like when you are that age and you're that young, these things have consequences. It's not just you getting affected. You're going back to your mother's house smelling like that with your uniform like that. With, now what if you've got an addictive personality? You know what I mean? So wait a bit.
And
just wait.
I do think that there's a better time and there's probably a better place for you to be doing weed than on camera at school when you're still a high school student.
Yeah. I always say that, like, because growing up, Gareth, I always see like my white friends at school like smoke cigarettes with their parents and like drink alcohol with their parents, and I was always like, ooh. I would just sit there and be like, these kids is crazy. But like now, you know what I mean? As I grow up, I'm like, maybe it's not such a bad idea to just like let my kids start in the household where I can see them, make these decisions, sort of like guide them in inverted commas so that they don't pick the shit up in the streets. I say that now. I don't know. I guess when my kids get of age, I'll decide. But I mean, yeah, man.
I'm a big advocate of that, Lebang. Teach your kids the skills you want them to have, because at least you can control that narrative instead of me learning from my friends. Me learning from my friends could be very dangerous.
Are you saying
roll a blunt?
Yeah, exactly. Bakh'abantu, when he said the skills, immediately I thought, like, how do you lick what? And when the people put saliva on the paper, I think we got. Yeah, you remember when Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma taught us all how to roll up a joint? That was her thing.
Yeah.
It was spreading COVID.
It's so great.
But the best lecture I got was from a drunk uncle carrying his, I think it was his 5th beer. He was like, "Don't drink. Look at me. Don't drink. You don't want to be like me." And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Actually, I don't want to be like you.
That probably did more example. That probably did more for you and getting you to understand how not to behave than anything else. Because you looked at him and you're like, what a fucking loser.
And there's something called a Phuza face. Phuza face. Once you go into Phuza face realm, there's just no turning back.
You can't.
Your face reeks of alcohol. Even if you're sober, your face is exposing you for being the drunk person in the family.
A Phuza face is a very serious thing.
It is.
And some very famous people have become a bit Phuza faced as time has gone by, right? I think you know who we're talking about here.
Oh.
Who do you think the most famous Phuza face in South Africa is?
Like all washed up soccer players for one. Like every second or third.
I don't know the most famous one, but I know the first one I saw was Mantu Shabalala. She looked like she was lit.
Dude. I've got one for you. Yeah, here's a good one.
I knew it.
She was on medication that made her drowsy.
Sure. Batabile Dlamini. She's gonna that's a Phuza face, right?
It really is.
She can't afford booze on what 100 grand a month.
On 100 grand, yeah.
It's more than that. I think she's on 200 grand a month, as I recall, and I think she probably can actually. I think she can afford a few. I think that's all she's buying with her take home money. After she's paid the expenses, then it's this one is for Phuza.
What's really sad about a Phuza face is that there's no actual. If you look at this picture, you can't really say, no, it's the wrinkles above her forehead or there's just a demeanor about you that you lose.
That's right. It
doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what color you are. It literally just shines through and says, I drink too much. That's what I do. How you doing? Like you can't pinpoint it. Like it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, and it actually hasn't got very much to do with your age either. It's about how much you drink. A Phuza face. I love that. It's like real, people who smoke too much weed. They also get those very bloodshot eyes, and then they also have that
it's permanently there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now we have, and by the way, the male role model, the male mascot for Phuza faces is probably Gwede Mantashe.
Gwede or Blade.
Between the two.
I don't know. I think Gwede's. We could have a competition.
But Blade is definitely up there. He's definitely. And why is it only like people in Parliament?
Gwede seems like he's that type who still drinks traditional beer. He always seems like he's always wiping.
What?
And that's the foam. Yeah. He's always like, yes.
All right. Well, let's run a little poll. Let's run a poll this morning and see if Batabile is the female Phuza face.
So we all agree on Batabile.
Yeah. Then what? Then who is the who's Blade? Is Blade in Zimande or is
Gwede?
Let's figure this out right now for once and for all. Right. Let's see. I'm going to put up two pictures. If you're watching us on the YouTubes this morning, then you need to get involved. All right. So first of all, for those people who don't know who Batabile Dlamini is, let's just remind them. There's Batabile Dlamini. She is the female. She's the winner when it comes to the Phuza face on the female side. And here, our first candidate for the male Phuza face is Blade Zimande. That's a nice picture of him, don't you think?
Yeah.
He's even looking like worried. He's also concerned. Like, do I have
He's
a
like-
Phuza? Am I the face of Phuza face for South Africa? He's also wondering.
Contemplating it.
You think he's a good candidate, or perhaps because I still think that the Gwede might actually be the better one. It's half and half, but I would say maybe Gwede, who's currently, I think he's the Minister of Energy.
Gwede inching, Gwede's inching forward. Blade is catching up.
So if you were watching this as a live action replay, I wonder who you'd put in the pole position, let's say. And by the way, you can vote right now if you'd like to send us your comments live on YouTube. Is it Blade or is it Gwede? What is your expert opinion here? Bakh'abantu, you go first. Which one do you think has the better Phuza face? Blade, who looks upset that we voted for him.
I still go with Blade.
He's squinting like he's looking into the light. Or is the Gwede? Which one is the best Phuza Thursday ambassador?
Blade looks like he hates us for putting him on this, and again, Gwede looks like he's nervous. He's like, "Ish, I need to win this." I still vote for Blade. I vote Blade.
Well, I'm telling you, Gwede is getting way more votes. Gwede is getting huge numbers of. Michelle says Gwede. Woody says Gwede. Gary says Gwede also needs to be the face of Camel Plain with his voice. Gail says Gwede, those teeth though. Sanele says Blade. There's one for Blade. Sharon says Gwede. Molly says Gwede. Moonchild says Gwede. Shani says Gwede. Kuhle says Gwede.
Oh wow, Gwede sweeping it.
Patrick says Blade. Dogoza says Gwede. Theron says Gwede. Yonder says Blade. There's two Blades. The rest are all Gwedes, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Our own
Simpiwe
says
Blade.
She says Blade. Lungelo says Gwede.
Yeah, this is a great shout from Robin. Gwede is the face of Babalaz. But
that's exactly it. That is exactly it, Robin.
He looks like he just woke up.
All the time he looks like that. So it's either he's just a walking, hanging individual, or he's just had so many like hangovers in his life that this is just the energy he oozes. Damn.
I think we spoke about this the other day, but I mentioned
he oozes Phuza face energy.
We all have energies that we ooze. His chakras are aligned with Phuza. I'm just saying.
No, I mentioned this.
But isn't Gwede like? I think Gwede should take it because isn't Gwede tag team partners with Tabo there?
With Tabo. I love this. John Bad Dog says it is Batapuza, definitely not Batabile. Batapuza. All right, so we've got it. There are two winners: Batabile Dlamini and Gwede Mantashe. And if you could think of anyone who maybe, because it doesn't just have to be politicians, but the politicians
who can challenge for the title.
They want to be our leaders, then we're going to judge them as our leaders. And someone has to lead the Phuza movement. So in this case, we've chakras aligned, as Lebang said. So I remember saying this just a short while ago, but I can't do more than one big night a week of drinking with my friends anymore. And I think, it's so funny. Like some people can obviously handle their alcohol and other people can't. And I can handle it, but I don't want to do more than one night. And that's become my rule, and I'm sticking to it from here on in. We invented Phuza Thursdays here on this show. We invented them. And someone reminded me the other day, you invented Phuza Thursdays. And then I suddenly got a picture of Batabile Dlamini in my head. And I was like, we did a bad thing.
Yeah, you are to blame, Gareth.
Yeah, we did a terrible thing. I was like, oof.
You made it cool to drink on Thursdays.
Because
some people don't know when to stop.
It used to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday.
And and these people who party on a Sunday, I haven't mentioned them for a long time ago. Let's just take a minute to bask in the glory or the stupidity, if that's your opinion, of the people who party on a Sunday. Because there are a lot of them. And they go to everywhere. They go to pubs and bars and restaurants and shebeens. And they get around. And on Sundays, that's their big party day. Now, I do not understand that because the feeling of being hungover on a Monday must be the worst feeling available to anyone.
It definitely is. It definitely is. Gareth, if you're in entertainment, of which you are, you know very well how demanding that lifestyle becomes of you. You get booked to MC an event on Thursday. On Friday, they book you to DJ. On Saturday, they pay you for an appearance. On Sunday, there's this, and that. So you have to always be sharp, always be ready for whatever the party will, will offer you. But I think there's a trick to doing it. The trick is doing it and then knowing when to go home. The problem is people want to do it so much so that's like, if the party ends at 11, it's okay, where's the next venue? Where to now? Home. Hello.
Well, Sunday partying, according to David, is for the guys who didn't get laid earlier in the weekend. It's the last chance to come right. Is that what it is?
Come. Yeah,
Hi, Mo. Is that what it is, David?
Dogoza says he partied this Sunday by mistake.
By mistake?
It wasn't a great idea.
How do you party by mistake? Like, oops, I'm at a party.
You fell into it. You're like, yo, I'm at the third beer. Tequila shots are coming.
Yo.
I didn't see this one coming.
By mistake.
By mistake.
Yeah, there's no such thing as by mistake. Dogoza, own it. Come. You are on your way to the Batabile Dlamini world of Phuza Face. It's going to happen for you, Dogoza. All right. I just want to quickly go to something else because you mentioned, and you've got this huge tribe of children, Lebang. You've got what, 14 of them at the moment. How many are there?
16. Just correct you.
No. She stopped counting after baby number 5.
Right. So you mentioned to me that you need to start preparing your sons for the birds and the bees conversations. And you thought this is maybe something that some people on the show might have some advice for you on. There are a lot of parents who've already been through this. This is a very tricky thing for parents to address in the right way. If you don't do it right, you could give your kid a complex. It's going to be embarrassing and weird anyway. You have to be careful how you approach it. So how do you want to address this? How do you want to deal with this? Where do you want to take this conversation?
I guess the first thing is that I never got the birds and the bees conversation. So I was left to the world to figure it out, school, friends, whatever the case, which I don't know if that worked or didn't.
Look how that turned out. You got
look at me now.
5 kids.
Exactly.
If only someone had sat you down and explained this is how you get pregnant, we wouldn't have
babies are made,
we wouldn't have to worry about a new house and all this stuff.
You know what I'm talking about? So I just kind of feel as though like there's a lot of different people that listen to the show from all areas of life, all areas of the world. And I do feel as though I will get some really good advice, XP wise, like when my parents told me this is how they told me, should the dad handle it because it's sons? Should I handle it? Because I really want to be more intentional about my parenting and really be like that involved on that level where it's like, look, this is a penis. It's not a pee-pee. This is a vagina. It's not a cookie. Like, do I take it to that level so that my kids are, fully aware, and is there a right age? And really, I'm just asking the audience of the show because, like I said, it's like a range of people who, for the most part, are some good people. So I put it forth to you, my friends.
Right. So basically, she's leveraging us for advice because she doesn't know. She probably just doesn't have anyone else to turn to. I mean, it's not like maybe we're not even.
You missed Dr. Hanan yesterday.
No,
wrong show.
Yeah.
Wrong show.
Yeah, you were meant to be on with Hanan yesterday.
I was.
Between Collector Mania and Dr. Hanan, you would have killed it yesterday. Collecting kids.
So, right.
Bakh'abantu, what do you think? Let's start with you because I know you've got so much experience in this field.
No, I was raised properly. My mom was a nurse, so she told me what menstruation was. Yeah, no. It was very scientific. She came back home. I was 12. She threw a packet of condoms at me and my friends. She's like, a girl walked in today. She was pregnant. So you guys are having sex at 12. So this is how it goes down.
Wow.
This is what sex is. This is a penis. This is this. When you start hitting puberty, you get wet dreams as a boy. Girls get menstruation. So by the time I hit like grade 8, I was like, oh, my mom once mentioned this. She told me what HIV was. She just went like full ham, but she was like on the nursing side. Like, this is the science behind it. And then she called my friends' parents. She's like, this is what I told them. The parents are like, thanks. We were wondering when we get to that chat. She's like, you guys are making babies. You guys are old enough to hear this.
Wow.
It's chaotic, dude, especially with the internet. Like, if you don't tell your kids, they'll find it somewhere else. And I just don't want it to be the wrong thing, you know?
No. I didn't have a dad. Mom was just like, bah, bah, bah. And then when it happens, you're like, huh.
Hanging out with Jay has a different point of view, and I'm not going to climb in and immediately criticize him, but I think you've raised something, Bakh'abantu, that maybe parents don't want to deal with, is that kids are having these conversations and maybe even partaking in this stuff at a very early age. So hanging out with Jay says, keep their innocence for a little bit longer. Lebang, chill a little. I don't know, hey? You know, it's up to each parent to decide when that age is, but you don't want them doing something before just because you're reluctant to bring it up earlier, and then
they don't want to have regret.
Mistake.
Exactly. I hanging with Jay, I get that. I want them to continue being kids, but I need to also be aware of the environment and the world that we live in. Like a couple of weeks ago, a video was released of a 10-year-old girl having sex with her classmates.
Oh my God.
And like, as a parent, if I'm sitting there and I get a message saying, hey, isn't this your kid? Dude, that's a 10-year-old child, 10. So it's harder and harder and scarier and scarier. So I just need to be aware of that. And I'd rather just like have my kids come ask me questions like, yo, mom, somebody did this, like, rather than them getting the answers anyway. But I know that I have to have the conversation. I want to, guys, I'm a bit scared, man. I don't know. Like,
don't do it cute though. Don't do that like, like, guys, this is how birds and the bees and a mommy bear and a papa bear. No.
Yeah.
Sex is sex. Vaginas, penises. Yeah, just keep it. I don't know, like, yeah, keep it scientific, keep it proper, so that they can come to you without feeling, oh, am I using the right word? No, just keep it anatomical. Like, this is what happens when a boy, you start developing feelings. This is puberty, this and this and that. Yeah. But it must be before puberty. I think, I don't know the age, but it must be before puberty, before it happens. Because once it starts happening, they'll be ashamed. They'll be asking for questions in dark corners. They'll be asking friends. Hey, there's some scary stuff that came out of school, and like,
I love those the urban legends and the bullshit stories that came out of school. That stuff you don't want your kids taking that as gospel. So I mean, Woody says whether it's the mom or the dad, that shouldn't matter. Just speak frankly to your kids. And MM says, being the mother of a teenager, there is no sitting them down and having the talk. It is a continuous conversation.
Yeah.
That's another good point.
Okay.
All right. Well, I hope that helps. Kuchla says, my parents told me to wear a condom. That's it. Everything else was from school. Not good. Not good. Yeah.
Yeah, no. That sounds dangerous.
Cook says, I've got 2 teens now. I didn't want my kids to hear weird things about sex from their friends on the internet. So I bought a book to help guide them, or guide me rather, and told my kids when they were about 9 in a light way. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as they got older, as they got older, we'd have the deeper conversations.
Yeah.
Mash Mashinini says, my sister is a grade 2 teacher, and the things these kids talk about at 8 years old at school, there's very little innocence to be protected if that's what you're worried about. Have the talk sooner and have it at home. Yeah. Yeah. This is happening. That's scary. And don't shock them or scare them away, says Woody. That's really important too.
Okay.
Like the takeaway must be a continuous conversation, like someone said, and you can always come back to me if you're unsure.
Yes. But the idea is to create a safe space.
Yeah.
Keep the door open.
You know, yes, not like I can't talk to my mom about this. It needs to be like, oh, I know who to go to. So yeah, I'll work on that. No, thanks, guys.
All right, you opened this door, huh? Now you've got all the advice you could possibly want. In fact, I mean, I'm hoping you're screenshotting all of these comments, because there's a lot of useful stuff.
My bookmarks.
Some very, very useful stuff. All right, it is just after 7:30, and we're going to welcome to the show someone who we've had on before, Dr. Reza Mia. And we've spoken to Dr. Reza about his career as a medical doctor, and he's in aesthetic medicine. He's also an avid aeronautics scholar. For those who don't remember the last time we spoke to him, he's made it his mission to innovate the aerospace and transportation sector, both locally and globally. I mean, he's an overachiever. That's the whole, I can say this. The guy he's a tremendous human being, but he's also massive overachiever, makes the rest of us look like we're lazy. We're sitting on our backsides doing nothing. So we've got to have him back on. It was a boyhood passion of his to design and own a business jet of his own design, the Pegasus vertical business jet. All right. And it's a brainchild that he worked on, and it takes to the skies in the Hollywood blockbuster movie called The Lost City, which is currently showing at cinemas around South Africa. This vertical business jet is featured prominently during several scenes and credited during the rollout sequence too. The Lost City is a breathless, action-packed jungle adventure along the lines of Indiana Jones or Jumanji, and it features an star-studded and an amazing cast of people like Sandra Bullock, Brad Pitt, Tatum Channing, Daniel Radcliffe. I mean, you couldn't wish for a better entree to the world than to have it on a multi-million-dollar blockbuster movie like this. What a pleasure to have Dr. Reza Mia on. Hey, Dr. Reza, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Good, nice to see you, man. Just adjust your camera. We're just seeing the bottom of your head there, not the rest of you. There we go. Let's see. Okay, there we go.
Much better.
That's good. How are you?
Listening to what you were saying about me, you'd think I'd know how to work an iPad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's very disappointing. When we finally switch on your camera, it's like, oh God, this guy doesn't even know how to use his phone. So listen, the last time we had you on, lots of people were blown away by the fact that there's this guy who's already got a successful aesthetic medicine practice. You know, being a doctor is not easy. You can't be stupid and be a doctor. Although I've met doctors who will say that you can be. I don't believe that. I'd like to think that doctors aren't dumb. It frightens the hell out of me to imagine that a doctor could get anything wrong. But you've also got this incredible interest in this really bizarre thing, which is designing and marketing and growing your own aeronautics business. And you've got this vertical business jet. And now, how did Hollywood hear about this? Because they put it in a movie.
So thanks again for having me. And
sure.
Excuse these scratches. I have a new kitten. It's somewhere around here. But
sure. We'll just assume it's the kitten. Don't worry.
Well, she might show up here on the screen. You know, they like to jump on the table.
All right.
Somebody from Paramount Pictures just got in touch with us and said, we need a plane for our movie. There's a scene where the heroine gets abducted and taken away, but it's a comedy, so it's not dark. So it's not a dark kidnapping, but it's exciting. It'll be part of the story. And at first, I just thought someone was trying to scam us for money. But we did our own research and found out that they were actually from Paramount Pictures. And then we engaged and we thought, well, let's see how this ends. This is probably going to be very expensive. I know product placement fees in movies are around $2 million. But they said to us, well, no, because it's part of the story, it adds to the story, then they won't charge a product placement fee. So that for us was a very big win and a very big compliment, because they could have chosen any movie, any plane in the world to put into their movie. And they said to us, we like yours because it's cutting edge and it's not sci-fi. It's something that will be flying in the sky. So that's what made us really excited to be involved. And I actually saw the movie last week. And really the plane makes a very big impression when you see it on the big screen. And they've done it very accurately, the way that the pieces move around and the plane transitions and flies around.
But did you stand up and start clapping when you saw your creation?
That's my plane.
This is your baby. Well, that's so cool.
Fortunately, everybody was involved with the company, so we had our own theater, and it got very noisy. You know, everybody was screaming and shouting.
Cheering for the plane.
It was exciting. I'll probably go and watch it again, just so I can watch it this time. I'll be quiet and just enjoy the show.
Like, Doc, I have to ask, because I've seen a lot of these things pop up where it's like, oh, they want to use something that I own for my movie. Did they have to like rebuild it and make like a replica of it? Did they I'm just curious as to how real the use of the plane really was in the movie. And I'm going to go watch it as well, just to double check.
No, you must. It's a good movie. You know, everyone will enjoy it anyway. It's a nice, funny comedy. You'll always, it's a movie you'd watch anyway. But they used CGI for the external components, but it was a very accurate CGI. You know, they used our CAD models. They consulted with our engineers as to how the different elements move and work together, like those fan louvers at the bottom. But this, what you're looking at right now, is actually a model that they built. So this was a physical cabin. So all the interior scenes where they sit inside and they talk and they, fall around, that's inside that model that you're seeing there. And I was saying at a presentation I did, that lady is small. The plane isn't that big. You can see the guy on the ground. He is more normal sized. And relative to that drill next to him, you can see it is a fairly accurate size of a plane. So that was a physical mock-up that they built. They didn't, as far as I know, they haven't destroyed that. And I think they do keep them as part of the studio property, which hopes, I hope that means it'll be in other movies.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Do they not? I mean, you say you would normally have to pay for product placement, but in this case, they said, "Can we use it?" And you thought, "Well, okay, sure, of course you can." But now, if they use it in other movies, they've surely got to pay you for those.
No, I think it just depends on how it features, what happens in the movie, that type of thing. For me, it's very good marketing. It's global presence. It's got a value to it. So if it was just, trade exchange, let us use the plane, I would be open to that. I mean, it's a good way to get people to see it.
So, Doc, I mean, how far are we from seeing this in the sky over Johannesburg? I mean, the last time we spoke to you, I don't want to be, I don't want to sound like an impatient idiot here, but I know last time we spoke, you said, well, there's quite a lot of research and development that's still going ahead. It's an expensive business, this. Aviation is not cheap. It's something that costs a huge amount of money. It requires a large team of very, very clever people to make sure everything is in order. You then have to go through a number of hoops to get it licensed, to be able to fly, to have the Civil Aviation Authority say okay. And then you've got to do all the tests before you can put passengers on board. So how far down the road are we?
So we're still at the scale models. The quarter scale models that we had started building when we last spoke are now almost finished. We're sending them to the UK for the control system and automation refinement and development with a company, Callan Lens, there that we're working with. And those will do the full job as well. They'll do vertical takeoff, transition, and forward flight, and then back again. It's important that we get all of that right before we put it into bigger models, but we are already building a full-scale unmanned model. And again, just funding dependent, we will move on then to the more detailed design and then build a manned full-scale model. And from there, we'll start doing the flight testing and certification. So I guess 3 to 5 years, I would say, before you can see a manned version flying. Oof. But the time will pass anyway. It's just we keep moving along, and we.
It's not like you're sitting around. No, it's not like you're sitting around doing nothing in the meantime. I mean, you're busy doctoring up a storm and all the rest of it. But it must be driving you crazy because you want to get into it. You want to actually feel it. And here in this movie, they've created this mock-up, this scale version, which you haven't even been able to build a scale of that size where you can actually sit in it. And I'm sure that once the day that happens, you'll feel such a sense of accomplishment, not to mention the thrill out of actually getting into a vehicle that you've been a huge part of designing. It's very, very exciting.
Yeah, you have a good idea. Maybe I should just make a trip and go sit inside that one and
do it.
Take a few pictures.
Do it. You know what?
They've
built the damn thing, and you should say to them, "Listen, I just want to come and sit in something that's my baby. Just give me 5 minutes in the thing alone, and let me just sit there and take a few pictures."
And when security tries to stop you, you must tell them, "Do you know who I am? I built this thing," and then they'll let you.
Exactly. Now that's a good idea.
Show them my license, yeah.
Well, Reza, it's always nice to see you. Please keep forging forward and getting Hollywood, if not everybody else, to look at South Africa and take us seriously. We obviously are a country that's at the forefront of a few things, not as many as we'd like to be. But we do have, we have people like you designing these jets. We have people like Elon Musk buying the whole of Twitter. We're gonna own all of these successes, and we're going to be very, very proud to have even more of them in the future. It's great to see.
Definitely.
Something in this arena, and it's being taken up by Hollywood, and soon it'll be a reality here as well. It's awesome stuff. Well done.
Very, very good. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. We'll keep you posted.
Yeah, please do.
Awesome.
Thanks, Doc. Nice to see you.
You too. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Here he is, Dr. Reza Mia.
What are you guys doing with your lives, eh? Are you guys
So besides
doing
feeling
anything?
inadequate right now,
What
I'm
did you do with your day? We did judge a Phuza face competition.
Well,
Yeah, that was the highlight.
yeah. Yeah, but between this plane and the BMW ad last week, I think we are full on into the future, guys.
As
This is
that's where we should
futuristic
be.
stuff. Yeah, this is futuristic stuff. This is futuristic technology today.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And you know what? It doesn't take millions and millions of people to all be doing incredible things at the same time. It just takes one or two who've got the means and who've got the passion and the inspiration to do something. And then suddenly, before you know it, something's going and actually literally in the case of this taking off. And he says it's 3 to 4 years. I mean, I would fly in this thing. I know there are lots of people who'd be nervous, but I would love to try some cutting edge aeronautical technology. The cool thing about this thing is because it's going to be a vertical business jet, it will be able to take off like this. So you will be able to land like a helicopter, not like a plane.
Very cool. I definitely would have made them pay me. I won't lie to you. I would have been like, okay, cool. Where do I send my invoice?
No,
Like
you would have
that's
had,
my creativity right there.
You didn't hear what he said though. He would have had to pay them usually for product
Yes,
placement.
for product placement. But okay, this is a jet. I mean, how many people watching The Lost City are in the market for a jet is my first thing. So that's why I'm saying, like, y'all pay
You
me.
never
But
know.
it's cool. I get it.
You never know, Lebang. You never know.
True. I want Elon Musk just buying Twitter for 43 bill. People really have money out there.
Pocket change.
This guy is operating on people and building jets in his spare time.
Bro, and just getting scratched by kittens in his free time. It is what it is.
Kittens. I think her name is Kitty.
Listen, he's in aesthetic medicine. He can fix that easily. He knows how to fix those things. All right. One quick thing before we go this morning. We think it's stupid for us to be judging Phuza face competitions while other people are designing jets and buying Twitter. But there is a guy in Iceland who's opened up a penis museum. He's got the largest penis collection in the world.
Wow.
And he's opened up this museum, the penis museum. Actually, Bakh'abantu of all people knows the most about this.
Well, if you make it sound like that, I don't want to know about this, but this popped up on my...
Come on, tell us how you found out about the penis museum.
What does my Google algo look like?
Google history.
But this guy, it popped up in the Guardian. The Guardian has some cracker articles lately. But so this pops up. This guy says he's interesting because he has the largest penis. He calls it the phallic Museum of Iceland. I'm like, dude, this guy started collecting penises, and he tells his entire story in the article about how he was just chilling with his friends, and a friend of his came back from the farm, and they were reminiscing about having whips that used to be made from bull penises. So the friend came back with 4 penises. He gave 3 of them to other friends. I'm like, as a Christmas gift, I'm like, I don't know how I feel that day if I open up and my friend gave me a penis. But anyway, so now he has a whale penis, Lebang. It's like 6 foot long. And then the smallest one he has. Yes.
Is he dot?
What are you asking?
No, he says it's just.
Is he white?
Yeah, no, he is. He's white.
He's
from
Iceland.
Okay.
He's in Iceland. What do you think? In Iceland, he's a big black man in Iceland. What do you think?
I was just asking the obvious. You just have to confirm. That is an interesting hobby to get into. Oh my gosh.
He says the smallest penis he has is from this European mouse. It's like, I think it's millimeters. And then you have to see it through a microscope. That's how small it is. He has a platypus one that's like twisty. This man But his son took over the business because it runs in the family, I guess.
It's now a business.
It's a family business.
It's a family business. People.
We do have Collectomania here every Monday. It's only a matter of time before we end up with a penis collection on Collectomania. Maybe we must get hold of this guy.
He has one special one, Lebang. It's from a human donor, 91-year-old man who died and wrote in his will he wants his penis to go up in this museum. but he himself says it's not the greatest example. So he has two people lined up that are well endowed that will donate.
Here's the guy, by the way. This is the dude who runs the penis museum.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he looks like he runs a penis museum, right?
Yeah.
His name is
all the signs are there.
Sigurdur Hjartarson. Sigurdur Hjartarson, and he is the owner of the Phallological Museum in Reykjavik, in Iceland.
He closes the article. His quote is like, some people collect stamps, some people collect cards. I collect penises. I collect phallus. So there's nothing wrong with that. I'm glad people accept it now. They come to the museum and they no longer think I'm a pervert.
Well, some people still do. Anami says, I saw their ads in Reykjavik when I visited Iceland. The place
that's
really
where it
does
is.
exist.
That's where
he sounds like
Power wants to know, I'm late. What did I miss? Well, you're going to have to listen to the podcast.
Hey, you missed a lot. You missed a lot. There's a guy collecting penises here.
He sounds like one of those characters from like an episode of Family Guy or South Park. Like they feed off of this kind of content. Like there's a guy that collects dicks. Write that guy in. You write him into the show.
And I don't like to make too much of this, but just look at this man. He doesn't look he does not look happy. I mean, maybe they caught him on a bad day, but he knew this was the picture that was going to go in the newspaper article, and he didn't even smile. He looks very unhappy. He doesn't look like he's proud of his penis museum. He doesn't look like he's thrilled to be there. He's a little depressed, if you ask me.
I wonder what like inspired him. What was the trigger that was like, you know what? These things, the length, the size, I want to collect this. And then he just started exploring and seeing different types. And he just got fascinated and thought, let me just open a museum. Let people come and indulge. Like, what was the trigger that was like, this is how I'm going to go down in history as the penis man?
He goes on about how he stores them and like preserves them. There's dried penises. There's ones in formaldehyde, which makes sense, like to preserve the tissue, and then there's ones that are mounted. So it's just like his picture above your fireplace, Gareth. You said something was primal about that fire. Something is primal about it.
Oh man. Well,
imagine you've got visitors at your house and like you're all sitting there like in front of the pipe, and someone goes, "Wow, Gareth, that thing on your wall just looks so good. What exactly is that?" And you go, "Hey, I took a trip to Iceland this one time, and it's man.
Bull, a huge bull penis. I thought I'd just put it on the wall to intimidate all my guests." So he says this: "You might call me a bit of an eccentric. At first, people thought there was something wrong with me, but over time, they saw I was a serious collector who was precise and accurate with the information I kept, and that there was nothing pornographic about the collection. I'm happy people don't think I'm a pervert anymore."
It's not anymore that kills me. It's like anymore.
Shame. That's amazing. Well, you know what? Again, we always talk on Collectomania about the crazy people who have collections. Here's an example of a dude who's collecting penises. You've got your coins or your books or your plastic apes, which one guy in Collectomania collected. Why can't he have a penis collection? And your collection is good when you can open a museum and people from all over the world will come to visit.
He's not bothering anyone except
over 300 samples.
There he is.
Can we go back to the Phuza face?
No, this guy doesn't look okay. He doesn't look okay. That is not a happy looking James. Nope.
Is that a Phuza face?
I don't know. Look it out. I don't want to
say it. It's giving me
Phuza
face energy. It definitely is. It's giving me Phuza face energy, but like he's making up for something else by collecting all these.
He has 6 o'clock shadow. He's just like he's unhappy. Why is he so unhappy
I'm
about his
unhappy.
collection?
And why is he leaving the balls out of the dick collection? The balls are a big part of the whole thing.
Someone has that.
Some of them have balls.
Separate. That's a different. That's a different collection. Yeah. You see, this is your problem, Lebang. You are not a collector, because if you were a collector, you would know where to draw the line. You have to draw the line,
and the line is at balls.
Because then you go penis, then you go balls. The next thing you know, you're collecting the legs, then you're collecting the bladder.
Collecting humans.
I don't want that.
Okay.
He's precise about his collection.
No,
fair.
please.
I hear you guys.
All right, everybody. Sanele says, by the way, that is the Caucasian Phuza face mascot.
Agreed.
There we go. So we've got some white and black
all the way from Iceland.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have an excellent day. Be good. Tomorrow is obviously a public holiday. We won't be doing the show live tomorrow, but we will be back on Thursday morning, bright and early, with lots of good stuff for you. So stick around for that and a whole lot more. And Yaku and Catalytic are coming up next with Unbundled. Don't go anywhere. CliffCentral.com.